Hey guys, Joe Tunney right here at Infiniti of Kirkland in Kirkland, Washington. For those of you checking us out from around the United States on eBay, welcome to Kirkland, Washington on an absolutely spectacular 75-degree day with not a rain cloud in sight. We're taking a look at a 2008 Mazdaspeed3 Turbo that was just traded in here at Infiniti of Kirkland. Now this one, despite being a 2008, has but 23,000 miles, so exceptionally low miles on what's an absolutely thrilling to drive little rocket. We're going to take a look around the car and give you a real detailed inspection here. We know a lot of you come to us from far away, and we don't want any surprises when you get here. So we're going to call it as we see it and tell you exactly what we find. Right off the bat, I'm finding a couple of little rock chips right here, and they may be just a little bit too small for you to see on camera, but take my word for it. There's one, two, and a couple of little peripheral ones as well. Taking a look on this side, nothing all going here. There is another small rock chip here and another even smaller one right there, but nothing to write home about. Inside the engine compartment. Now, for those of you who don't look at cars all the time from a used car perspective, you take a look at the research, you do all the smart things about pricing and horsepower. For those of you who have not looked at a ton of pre-owned cars, the first thing you ever do is you always feel this curve right here. You'll hear me say it again and again and again because it's so important. When a car is new at the manufacturer, they haven't put an engine in it yet, or a dashboard, or a windshield, and so they hit it with paint at every single angle at the same time. Because of that, the paint makes a nice clear turn around this arc right here, and there's no roughness or chatter or paint line or anything like that. Whenever Bob's Body Shop gets a hold of a car, what they do is spin in a little bit of a fender bender, they paper off everything that they don't want to hit with paint, and they paint from top to bottom. As a result, the paint doesn't make it physically underneath this arc. It only makes it as far as the paint line will allow, and you'll feel kind of some roughness or a distinctive paint line. Then you go inside the interior of the engine compartment, and one rule that is every single car in the whole wide world follows it. It's always shiny on the outside, and it's always dull on the inside. Whenever you see it monochromatic, which means one tone, one color, that's not good. You want it to be shiny and then dull. Manufacturer can afford to have two robots going side by side. Bob's Body Shop does not have two robots. Bob's Body Shop has Bob. And so what Bob will do is he'll just paint the whole fender, and then it'll be just as shiny here as it is here. And then you go to the other side of the car and it'll be dull like it's supposed to be, and in 1 second you already know the car's been in an accident. Because the paint is really dull in this area right here, it doesn't have clear coat, these screws that hold the fender to the chassis, which is the actual structure of the car, tend to chip and flake very easily, especially if they've been turned on with a wrench. And so if you see that the edges are a little bit beat up on any of these screws, then you know that the car's been in an accident in that location. You just follow every screw around that holds panels to the chassis on the entire vehicle. This car or any car, they're all the same. If you see one with chewed up edges, you just saw a car that was in a car accident. So this looks just the way that we're hoping that it would look. 23,000 miles, we're expecting good things, but it could only have 23,000 miles because it's been in the body shop for a long time, or worse, or it was a track car, a race car, or something like that. This is not the case in this car, but it could be, and until we know with our own eyes, we want to make sure that what we are telling you is the right information. Go ahead and close this up. The other thing you're looking for, and believe it or not, it happens more frequently than you might realize. Look up in this area right here and see if there's any holes in this felted area. The reason is a lot of people live near to where there's blackberry bushes and the like, and there'll be a lot of mice and rats who live in those blackberry bushes. They sense the warmth in winter of the engine of your car, and so they come hide up here, and they got nothing to do but chew a hole in that mat. And so people always ask, oh, why does that mat have a big hole in it? Oh, it's the heat of the engine or something like that. No, your car's been chewed on by rats. And so the problem with that is the felt costs 12 bucks. That's no big deal. The problem is because they're in your engine compartment, they can be chewing on your wires. And certain wires that have no exposure to even accidents, like the main harness that holds the entire integrity of the electrical system together, if they get chewed on by rats, you're completely done. The whole car will never work again. And as silly as that sounds, I bet it happens here at least twice a month we see it here at Infiniti of Kirkland. It is very common problem here in Washington. Now this car, as we look all the way around, we're going to make sure, not that it's blemish free, we're just going to point out every blemish that it has. The tires are not shined on this one. The reason is they were right at 3/32 of an inch, that is. And that's right at the time where you have to make a decision. Am I going to keep the tires on the car, or am I going to get new tires? And so this is where these were 3/32 of an inch. And so this car is so nice, and I knew I was going to put it on eBay, and I want whoever buys it to be really, really happy. And so this morning, actually, I had Armando, who's filming us in this video, take it over to the tire store, and he put some brand new Pirelli P0 Neros, some expensive tires, probably more expensive than the car originally came with, but what the heck, we don't mind living a little here at Infiniti of Kirkland. And so if you look at the wheel has a little bit of chatter on this edge. I'm going to say 1 inch by 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch right here. And so we can paint this wheel. It costs us about $125 to refinish the wheel. So if that's something that's important to you, then heck, let's talk about it. Coming around to the other side, this wheel is completely true and original. It's awfully dirty where the screws are. I'm going to have a nice long conversation with our detail shop about that. Again, when a car is going to a different part of the country, I would imagine, I personally would be terrified that I was being put together by the dealership that I was working with, even if they sounded really friendly on the phone. And so I just want it to be perfect, or at least I want every single thing presented to me in the most honest possible depiction so that I can make an intelligent decision. And I hope you feel that way too. Now, if I look at the driver's seat here, I see just a teeny tiny bit of that kind of compression wear. And so not where like the material's worn or the fibers themselves are deteriorating. It's nothing like that at all. It's just the compression from these bolsters being up so high. Every time I get it in and out of the car, I'm kind of pushing down in this area right here. It's not unsightly in any way, shape, or form. It's just you notice it because the inserts are kind of a mesh cloth material that contrast with the smooth sheen of the leather, and so it's a little bit more distinctive. And so this particular car, steering wheel looks great, all the buttons look great, and then a non-smoker, no dogs, no cats, anything like that. So much trust goes into the dealer that you're doing business with right here, because the car might not be a smoker technically, but it can still smell foul for a variety of reasons. We laugh when we say it's somebody's BO, but I don't want a car with somebody's BO in it, and so I'm trusting in the retailer that they're going to share that kind of information with me. Or perhaps this is a car that it's been over detailed and they had the windows rolled up on a cold winter day, and that moisture never got out of the carpets, and now the thing smells like mold, and every time I turn on the air conditioning it smells terrible. And so I would hope that whoever I bought the car from would disclose all of that. Take a look in the back seat. Now we know this couple did not have any infants, and so the back seat, we always say in the car business, looks like it's never been sat in, but in this case it's true. It probably has never been sat in. We're going to walk around the fender work here, kind of let our fingers do the talking and see if we see any scratches or anything like that. And these little guys just come right off. No, it's completely original. And then if we look in this corner right here, I'm going to call this, what, 5/8 of an inch or thereabouts of an area that's been touched up a little bit, and the color of the touch-up hasn't aged the same way as the rest of the paint, so it's darker. And then this small area here, and then this little chatter right here, and then just a couple little scuffs that we might be able to rub out. Now, for you, you might say, listen, I collect this car, these kinds of cars, and I want this car to be absolutely perfect, perfect, perfect. Again, we can airbrush this bumper. It's not that big of a deal. We can do anything that you want us to do. We can paint the car blue if you'd like that. Whatever you want, that's what we want. And so if you want something done, then let's certainly talk about it. I'm looking at just some little white dots right here, but they just come right off. Inside the trunk area, everything looks completely original. Everything looks completely brand new. And so a lot of times people will put their golf clubs or their utility gear back in the back here, and the edges will get a little bit beat up, the seats will be a little bit worse for wear, this thing will be put through heck and back. This one looks like it's never been touched in the back. A little bit of dust right there, but just outside on a sunny day here in Seattle, you're going to get a little bit of that. Let me close that door back up just so we can get a nice long look. It's completely ding free, so no door dings of any kind. On the roof as well. Harder to tell on the roof with the camera. It's easy to hide door dings with a camera. You think you saw the whole car and then you see it in person, it looks like it's been in a hailstorm. This isn't like that at all. And then I mentioned going about the periphery of the wheels. These all look completely blemish free. And then again, the tires are brand new. And then around the front wheel as well, again, it's a dirty front wheel, and we're going to have a nice father-son conversation with the detail department about this, but the wheels themselves are perfect. And then sometimes these turn signals, it's just the nature of these white turn signals. Sometimes you'll see a little bit of moisture in there, more so than you'd see in an amber turn signal, if there is a little bit of moisture allowance or leakage or what have you. Not the case here at all. Come around and take a look inside. Now, if you know a little bit about the Mazdaspeed3, it's a front-wheel drive car with 263 horsepower and 280 foot-pounds of torque. Well, that's actually extraordinary. For a four-cylinder car that gets 26 miles per gallon on the freeway, those horsepower numbers are fabulous, and they're reliable horsepower. A lot of cars can pump out a lot of juice, but then they get a little bit thrashy as the years go by. Mazda's earned a reputation for reliability, going back to the old all-wheel drive Mazda 323 turbos that they had, which were quite reliable considering how powerful they were back in their day. And so let's turn this one on and see how it sounds. $23,628 miles, that's exactly what it reads on the clock. Nice stereo system, climate control, it's all manual seats. The shift is a little light for my liking. It's perfect. It's just exactly as it was when the car was brand new. I like a more heavy shift when I go through the gears. This one's a little easier than most shifters, but it's a little bit light for my taste. If there was one modification I would make to this car, I would change the shifter and get a short shift kit. They're not particularly expensive, but I think it would be well worth the cost for this car. Center console's perfect. Inside the center console's perfect. Glove box isn't loose or anything like that. Your books are waiting for you right inside, safely stowed away. Everything works. The lights all work. Power windows work. The stereo system is made by Bose, so it's the high-end version of Mazda stereo system. Same we use here in our Infiniti brand. Again, this car is 95+% of the way to absolute showroom perfection. I would say if you painted a curved wheel, touched up a couple of spots, and resprayed the rear bumper, you'd be looking at essentially a flawless brand new car. If that's something that's important to you, again, it's important to us, and we're certainly happy to talk about it. If you have any questions, if you'd like to see a different format of the video, one that's distinctive to whatever it is that's important to you, maybe the undercarriage of the car is important to you, maybe a longer look at the engine is important to you. We don't want you to think that this is the only information that you're going to get for this car. We understand, especially on eBay, you're so far away. And how can you possibly trust a dealership that you don't know anything about? Well, for starters, I've been here for 10 years, and I'm the only department head who's only been here that long. Everybody else has been here since the store opened in 1997. We are a family-owned dealership. Dave Ganna is the owner of the dealership. He's here right now. He's here every day, Monday through Friday, from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. That's just the kind of store that we are. We're an A+ Better Business Bureau rated store. We've never not been an A+ Better Business Bureau rated store since we opened our doors in 1997. Owner always says, inspect what you expect, and he definitely inspects and expects the very best. And so unhappy customers are something we just don't tolerate here at Infiniti. If you have any specific questions, it doesn't matter if it's financing, transportation, if you're out of state or out of the country. We ship plenty of vehicles overseas, to Europe, to Asia. We're very familiar with bringing cars into Canada. In fact, we sell more cars into Canada than any Infiniti store in the United States. Of course, we're right next door to British Columbia, but we still do quite a lot of it. We understand the paperwork, the dynamics, and what have you. We sell so many cars sight unseen, we couldn't possibly believe it. And it is more of a challenge selling a car outside of the United States. So much more trust is involved in that. We want to earn your trust too. If you'd like referrals, if you like any information at all, please don't hesitate. If you want to get a copy of the shop report, I can fax it to you, I can scan it to email to you, I can do anything that you like. My name's Joe Tunney. If you have any questions in the world, please do not hesitate to call me. 425-821-1600. Or drop me an email anytime at joet@infinityofkirkland.com.